Welcome back for another video. As the Game Week 5 deadline approaches, in this video we're going to run through the experts data to see what the top managers are doing this week. There's a wildcard active and a lot of transfer activity this week. This is an ongoing series every game week this season. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it each week. The top ranked expert as it stands is Dan Wright. He still holds the top spot. He's ranked 19k after scoring 79 points before the break. He was one of the unlucky managers to have benched Archer's 12-pointer, but without hindsight, understandable benching decision. Were you able to beat the expert's average of 75 points? 19k, really impressive rank this early considering the sheer number of chips that have been used this early, especially at the higher ranks. 13 experts already in the top 100k. And in terms of chip usage this early, in the top 10k, 38% of managers have used at least one chip. And while we're talking about ranks, here's how condensed they still are this early in the season. 11 points separates 2 million to 1 million, 8 points separates 1 mil to 500k, 16 points separates 500k to top 100k. Have a look at where you currently sit here and how close those thresholds are in front of you. Moving on to the experts transfers. 43% are rolling this week, 46% spending one transfer and 10% are making two transfers. This week one expert's got their wildcard active, which they've kindly sent in to us to look through later in the video. So Son's the most transferred in player this week by 17%. A positional shift from left wing to centre forward, which is expected to continue. It was a hat-trick before the break as well, and he's got Sheffield United at home. Sheffield United's second worst in the league for expected goals conceded so far this season, with 9.5 XGC. That said, they've not been battered by any team so far, even against Man City, which ended in a 2-1 loss. After Sheffield United, Spurs face Arsenal and then Liverpool, which are two much tougher games, but it is tough to play devil's advocate against the Son transfer. Really good move this week. Trippier is the second most transferred in player. We're always looking to get ahead of the curve with our transfers, and those that brought in Son in Game Week 4 were exactly that, and Sterling owners in Game Week 3. Looking at Newcastle's fixtures, it's a great run over the next 6. Trippier has disappointed so far. His 5 points are as much as Pickford's mustered up so far. Share is also a great option, and he's been brought in by 3%, and he's 1.5 mil cheaper than Trippier. Came across a great graphic here from FPL Chase, ranking the top FPL assets for the next 6 game weeks. Essentially it's an ensemble, which means using data from a variety of sources, points projections from FPL Review, Fantasy Football Scout, Mikhail Tokvem's algorithm, etc. If you take an average of multiple sources, you get more reliable data and it can dampen out noise. So over the next 6 game weeks, Pope and Edison rank joint first among keepers. If you can't afford Trippier, then Pope for a 1 mil saving might be the answer, or perhaps Cher, who is ranked third among defenders. It is Trippier ranked top among the defenders, followed by Trent. Trent's still yellow flagged as it stands, not seen in training yet after sustaining an injury before the break. If not this week, then Game Week 6 they're home to West Ham. He could be an incredible differential. He's one more double-digit haul away from everyone talking about him again. So looking at the mids, Salah's top, which makes sense given Liverpool's run of games. Son is second, and then it's Saka, Rashford and Fernandes. So in other words, Salah to Son not a sensible move this week, but you can justify selling the names below for some. That said, Man United have got good fixtures themselves though, so dropping Rashford or Fernandes is a risk. And lastly the forwards. After Haaland it's actually Watkins, and then Jackson, and then Alvarez and then Morris, thanks to his double game week in Game Week 7. Aston Villa's fixtures from Game Week 7 in particular are incredible, and the likes of Cash and Watkins will be excellent picks from then, if not now. So finishing up with the top expert transfers, it's João Pedro who's the most sold player, with Awani and Alvarez the top replacements. Awani hasn't blanked since Game Week 35 last season, which is a remarkable streak. It's actually not a great turnaround for Alvarez. He played at 9 PM on Tuesday 12 in Bolivia, and he travels back to play on Saturday afternoon away to West Ham. So 8.4% of the experts have used their first wildcard, and one has theirs active this week. There was actually a free hit used last week, the first of the season, used by John, who does have a top 1k finish a couple of seasons back. He scored 85 points on the free hit, and he brought in the likes of Alvarez, who did score 14, so probably a good decision all in all, sliced his rank in half to 500k. Anyway, FPL Fish has activated his wildcard, and his team is as follows. It's Leno in goal, Trippier, Chilwell, Udogie in defence, midfield 5 of Foden, Saka, Sterling, Son captain and Mbeumo, up top Alvarez and Haaland. On the bench he's got Areola, Morris, Gusto and Anderson from Luton. Here's what he had to say. I decided to activate my wildcard during the international break because I feel we've now had enough time to see which teams and players are better or worse than we thought they would be, and I can correct a few errors. The team looked fine for this week without activating the chip, but there were a few changes I wanted to make, so I went for it. I'm not a huge fan of rotating goalkeepers, but there's no standout option so far, so I'm going for London and Areola for the fixtures. There are very few clean sheets so far this season, so I want my defenders to have some attacking threat, so Chilwell, Udogie and Trippier are the main defenders, with Gusto still there as my 4mm fourth defender. I have few concerns about his minutes, as I can't see James staying fit for too long, sadly. Starting the season without Mbeumo was clearly a mistake and one I'm rectifying now. I've also brought in Son for Bruno. I expect him to continue playing centrally and be a key part of a very attacking Spurs side. If he performs as we know he can make a mockery of the 9.1mm price. I've brought in Morris and Alvarez for Archer and Jackson. I know Jackson has the stats, but he's so frustrating to watch as an owner. Morris is in for double game week 7, although it will be a nasty bench headache that week. It's also not optimal to have 1mm on the bench, as he's only a short-term option. I can get to any player of 1 or 2 transfers, except Salah. He would likely need 3, and it's a consideration. If Liverpool start to look like the team from 2 to 3 years ago and he becomes a great option, it's hard to see an easy route to him. At least one of Saka, Rashford and Son would have to go, along with one of Trippier, Alvarez, Foden or Chilwell. Best of luck with the wildcard, mate. Thanks for sending in. On to Game Week 5 captaincy then, and it's an exciting one this week. Exactly 80% are captain in Haaland, so who are the other 20% backing? 14% are captain in Son, 3% Maddison, 2% Salah, and 1 manager's on Watkins captain. This week, the top 3 on FPL Reviews projections are Son, Salah and Haaland in that order, but projections aren't everything. This is a graphic from FPL Radar which compares the 3 on various metrics: expected goals, expected assists, shots, opponent strength, etc. Light blue is Haaland, dark blue is Son, and red is Salah. So Haaland leads, as expected, for expected goals so far this season, and likewise for shots. However, as mentioned at the start of the video, Son's only just moved into striker, so his underlying data will be slightly skewed unfavourably. So opponent expected goals conceded is a useful metric, and Son leads comfortably there against Sheffield United, followed by Salah facing Wolves and Haaland facing West Ham in third. All 3 are excellent picks whatever the outcome. If you've got a gut feeling, go with it. Much like how actual football managers have their profiles and way of playing, I like to think FPL is exactly the same in its own way. You've got aggressive managers, upside chasers, the safe managers, there's analytics, decision making, or gut feeling, or grass FC as it's often called. If you're an upside chaser, then Salah and Son are the ones to go for. If West Ham keep Haaland quiet and Salah and Son do well, you'll fly up the ranks. But if Haaland puts a couple past West Ham, as he did last season, and Salah and Son blank, then it's going to really hurt your rank. Realistically, they could all do well. You might find comfort identifying what kind of FPL manager you are. On to the Experts team reveal, and if you've enjoyed the video so far, please drop it a like and subscribe to follow this content every week. The Experts team for Game Week 5 is as follows. It's Turner in goal, Estepinian, Udogie and Chilwell in defence, Saka, Rashford, Fernandes, Maddison and Mbeumo in midfield, up top Haaland and Jackson. So Udogie's a new entrant to the team, but not enough transfers in for Son to displace any of the midfield 5. There are some concerns that Turner might lose his spot to Vlachodimos very soon, something to monitor if you are a Turner owner. Refer to the graphic earlier in the video for the best goalkeepers over the next 6 game weeks. In terms of where the team's headed, I expect we'll soon see a shake-up in defence with no Newcastle players currently in the team. From Game Week 6, they've got Sheffield United and Burnley back-to-back. If you're an Estepinian owner, along with Saliba or Gabriel, it's a tricky one which to start this week. In terms of clean sheet odds, Arsenal have been given a 39.5% chance of a clean sheet, while Brighton just 15.5% chance, which is very low. So with the Arsenal defenders, you're banking on a clean sheet, probably no attacking returns. With Estepinian, realistically he's probably going to concede, so you're banking on an attacking return. So every game week we ask the experts to send in any tips and insight they have for us. Thorfinn says, the news of upcoming double Game Week 7 and having 2 rotating goalkeepers, I'm now planning to bench boost in Game Week 7 to get it out of the way and play my wildcard in Game Week 8 or 9. So rolling the transfer this week to get in those Burnley and Luton players later. Torfen says, think it's not the best idea to do midfielder transfers, as 99% of all midfielders I see are completely fine. FPL Banger sold Jackson for Awani, and he says, Awani has 9 goals in his last 8 games, Burnley have conceded 11 in 3, doesn't get much easier than this. FPL Diggy's burning a transfer this week, says, I don't like the feeling of burning a free transfer, but that's what I'm doing currently. If there is late news that Saka or Botman is out, then I'll probably sell one of them to use my free transfer. I still have 2 for next week. My team's still in good shape, having wildcard in Game Week 3. Marco says, are international breaks getting longer or is it just me? Joey says, don't get a red arrow. Oh, what a tip. Oh, thanks, Joey. Right, that wraps up this Game Week's Experts video. If you enjoyed it, like the video and subscribe for weekly content to come all season. See you soon for the next one.